good afternoon on what is a bright, clear and mild day. It is Monday the 17th of January, and I'm in the reading nook with Kat, who is not ours, and a nice hot cup of tea and some parcels to unbox. So I'm going to start off with, oh, he's coming back, here we go. I'm going to start off with this one, which just arrived this morning, so not quite sure what it is. Let's have a look. And we have two books in there, and the first one I'm going to pull out is Upwind, a role-playing fable of lost science, elemental magic and uncharted skies. This is from Biohazard Games and Nocturnal and Chaosium, and let's have a look at the back. It's not the easiest thing to read, so we have the uncharted skies, a fragmented realm of countless islands drifting through a boundless ether. The light, a sourceless glow from the skies above that warms the kingdoms of the kin and keeps the children of the dark at bay. The dark, a hidden world below, a shadowed dominion of lethal dangers and ancient enemies. The wind, the potent force of elemental power that forever blows from the dark toward the light. The Explorer Knights, a powerful cadre of scholars, warriors and elementalists who explore the shadows, defend the kingdoms and defy the dark. Ancient technology, arc-powered wanderers scavenged from the remnants of the long-vanished masters of the wind. The Twilight Frontier, the shattered realm of ancient ruins and lost science, the final background between kin and child. Welcome to the skies of Upwind. You're an Explorer Knight. You're unique in all the Skylands. That's why the guild recruited you. You survived the academy, honed your potential, and now wield extraordinary powers. You have stalwart crewmates, fleets of skyships, supernatural relics, and ancient technology, all at your command. Even so, can you survive the first voyage into the Twilight Frontier? Can you survive your first encounter with the Children of the Dark? Can you protect the kingdoms in the light and save civilization? Upwind is a Studio Ghibli-inspired fable, a Tesla punk role-playing game powered by the narrative queue system. The stakes-based playing guard-driven mechanics give every encounter consequences with meaningful story-building outcomes. With its simple bidding rules, Upwind plays as fast as you can tell your tale. Okay, so this isn't necessarily the idea of sort of like a fantasy airships setting in an endless sky isn't necessarily new. You have things like Seven Skies, and then also a campaign setting for Savage Worlds called Sundered Skies, which is a lot of fun. But let's see what this is like. If I can get past the nosiness of the cat. Okay. It does love a good fuss. So open up, and here we've got a map of the Skylands. A little difficult to kind of show you on this. A bit closer. Manipulate that round the cat's head. He'll settle down in a minute, and then we get into the introduction here. And it's telling you what a role-playing game is, what a group needs to play, and it begins to explain the settings and the mechanics and the inspirations. Give you the inspirations here. So we have at Studio Ghibli's Laputa Castle in the Sky and Nausicaa Valley of the Wind, Disney Studios Treasure Planet, Ralph Bakshi Wizards, Gonzo KK's Last Exile, Bone Studios Full Metal Alchemist, and Nickelodeon's Avatar The Last Airbender, and then we delve into the Uncharted Skies themselves. Excuse me whilst I stroke this cat. He's most insistent. You've got things like how the course made good, telling time. There's a technical aspects of it, sort of living there, and exploration at the beginning of what the dark is that lies below. Kingdoms and cultures. So we have a different discussion. I see here's some of the things that presumably you can find in the dark and presumably don't want to. And the kingdoms and cultures across the various places, and you can see obviously you contrast the dark there with the very bright cartoony kingdoms of the light. And I don't mean that negatively, of course. It basically it's honestly it's the stark contrast there between the two. So got more imagery of sort of like the lands and basically a vessel going across the sky, and we get into the history of the kin, basically the beginning of the history of the background. From the age of isolation, the first age of exploration, colonization, wars, there, and then we have boxed out text explaining upon different, adding a bit of colour and explaining further. This comes all the way up into the Age of Prophecy, and then we have excerpts from the Guild Historical Primer, which gives sort of an actual timeline. And then we get into the Guild itself, where we have explanation of the Explorers Guild ranks, from novice, apprentice, ranking journeyman, all the way up to Sky Captain. So this essentially is a science fantasy setting, and we have a description of various outposts and in places like the Guild naval yards, and how the Guild operates out in the further kingdoms. And we got onto the actual Explorer Knights and who they are and how to become one, qualifications and recruitment, turning the Explorers Academy, apprenticeships and more. And I'm a bit reminded of Lore and Legacy here, which is the French post-apocalyptic role-playing game on another planet, which is basically swords and planetary romance sort of thing, which has this kind of similar setup where you've got a guild which does goes out and sends out adventurers and explorers and investigators and that sort of thing. And then we basically master caches. This is and there's essentially this is most of what is known about the masters and their pre-downfall culture, and all of what is known of their technology comes from studying what has been salvaged from the various repositories, stashes, ruins, and caches that escape destruction. So there's a certain degree of old technology and reliquary as well, including, of course, arcana technology. Excuse me. We've got some devices here as well, so that's where the whole aspect of Tesla comes into it, and even to the point where we have essentially big suits of armour that are mechanical and arcano tech. So lots of basic information in here: weapons, heavy weapons, windmills and relics. And then we go on to Starships themselves. And so here we've got sail plans, manoeuvres, air power, and talking about ship classes as well, because obviously different variety of different size classes. And then we've actually got ships of the realms. So we have on one side you've got the Explorers Guild ships of various sizes, and then we have the corresponding vessels belonging to the Children of the Dark. So obviously here now then we've got the idea that we've got the lands of the light, and those of the dark, and there's essentially two corresponding civilizations. And then NPC groups and factions gives you sort of people to interact with and work for, and basically fight, oppose, that sort of thing. Travel in the sky, into the sky. It's basically talking about the dangers of things like cyclones and deadfall and downsides, edgefalls and stone rain, and because obviously if you're going to pass underneath an island, presumably there will be things raining from it. Creatures of the realms. So like powder worms, rainbirds, rock creepers and skinners. Again, really nice artwork throughout this book. It captures the feel of it. Gets that sort of cartoony feel. It's sort of the animated feel of it. And we got to the Children of the Dark. And then obviously for the moderator's eyes only. And then section more for the moderator, tone and tropes. Essentially, it's all about the fantastical and high action, heroic youth, duty, exploration, and so on. That sort of thing, the sort of thing you would expect. Again, which you really can see in a lot of the Studio Ghibli titles. So all of this is background and content, and here we get onto the actual, just at the very end, cues for quantum, which is the the game's mechanics. It's a basically uses playing cards to as its underlying feature. Again, I'll be interested to dig into that when I get to a proper review in due course. Whether or not there is any. Yeah, okay, so this is all the mechanics and so on. I'll get down to the end. And yeah, one thing I haven't found in this book, and this book literally reverses the whole process of, basically the whole presentation of a role-playing book, because all of this is background. All of this section here is background information, and then you've got the rules here. So that's the rules. Okay, so this is all background rules, and then at the end of the book, you've got character creation. This is, normally this kind of information comes back at the beginning, not at the end. But there we go. Here we're going to take it through step by step through character concept, nationality, attributes, and basically applying descriptions to attributes. I've got an example of character generation as well, which is good. And then we have novice recruitment and character description, talent caches, and relic designs, and basically equipment and training that the character has. So yeah, and then we've got the character sheet at the end. Now, I don't necessarily know what this will feel about, sort of like having that character creation process at the end of the book. But I suppose in one way, what it does do is it means by the time you've got through the book, then you'll definitely have some idea of what you want to play. The only problem is that basically because it's after I would say is it's because it comes after the moderator section. It's sort of like with secrets and stuff. You may not want your players you want your players to get all that background, and then they've got the moderator section in between before they get to the mechanics for creating characters. But nevertheless, this is an impressive little book, potentially interesting little setting, especially if you like your Japanese animated settings, and you're looking to play something along the lines of a Japanese role-playing game. Then Upwind would probably be it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, please click the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any positive feedback, I appreciate you posting those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a parcel and a book or a game, which I will chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, and occasionally a cat who is not ours, then please do hit that subscribe button. Once again, thanks for watching. I'll be back again soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.